Welcome back to another episode of the Stay Connected podcast. It's your host, Leo Herrera, the Connected Golfer. I'm alongside today JP Mehu, the originator of Par Yard and a lifelong friend and a lifelong golfer. JP, thank you so much for being on the podcast today, bro.
Yeah, thank you, Leo. Thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure. I mean, what you're doing in the game is pretty cool. I'm excited to get deep into it with the audience and really understand what it's about. But like I love to start it, how did you get into the game of golf?
Yeah, so I got into the game when I was about 3 years old. I started playing with my dad, just kind of hopping on the cart with him when he wanted to go play golf and just kind of falling in love with it from there. It just started as just wanting to spend time with my dad. And that was just a really fun way for us to interact and hang out on the golf course. And kind of just the love for the game started from there.
Yeah. So what did that look like as you were growing up? Did you play any, junior golf tournaments and stuff like that? Obviously, I know because we've been knowing each other for a while, but just to give the audience some context.
Yeah, so I grew up in the game, similar to Leo, just playing a lot of junior golf events and us, competing against each other and having a good time out there. And when I was 13 years old, I joined the Haitian national team, which I still play for to today, which most people don't know, I guess, but I've played competitively for them, traveling the world for the past like 10 years. And that's been so much fun. I mean, competing on the biggest stages with some of the best players in the amateur space has just been amazing.
Oh, I bet, man. I mean, that's something I want to get into. Like you representing your country, it's more than just you out there. Like you're doing something for bigger than yourself and getting to travel and play all these tournaments. First off, the opportunities it opens up to represent your country, to play these tournaments, to get access to certain events other people won't get access to. How has that experience shaped you as a golfer?
I honestly think those experiences are like they're life changing. Being able to be in those events. For me, I guess you could say my favorite event that I get to play in, and the one that's had the most impact on me is definitely the Latin American Amateur Championship. Just that week alone, being able to go out there and compete with the best players in Latin America on these championship golf courses where they really do treat us like PGA Tour players, I'd say out there. I mean, that event is run so professionally by the USGA, the Masters, the RNA. It's an amazingly run event, and those events they're really life changing. I think it just gives you a different perspective on the game and a different appreciation for it, and the opportunities it's given you, and being able to use that platform playing in those events to really grow as a person. Take those experiences with you, get better as a player, and it just all around just really good experiences with that.
Yeah. So JP, now you finish college. You're venturing into a new space, but I mean, I'm curious to know like your experience in competitive golf from the beginning of when you started till the end of college golf. Like, how was your experience? I really love asking this question because it's different for everyone, and it truly is something that molds your character.
Yeah, so I think growing up, junior golf is more for me. It was more stressful because I was always worried about like our JGS and worried about like our scoring and all that stuff. And I feel like when I got to college, I didn't care about any of that stuff anymore. And as a result, I started playing so much better. My golf game got so much better, and just kind of freeing up with that kind of transformed the way how I viewed competitive golf and actually enjoying it a lot more. So nowadays, I actually enjoy playing in tournaments a lot more than I did as a junior, and I feel like for me now, whenever I get to go compete, it's like it's a great opportunity to kind of showcase the hard work I've put in, but at the same time also have fun out there and just really enjoy it. So I really enjoy playing competitive golf.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I feel like it's a broken record. Everyone that I've talked to about this with junior golf, they say the same thing. It's like I felt so much pressure back then, but if I were to go back in time, I would have told myself just have fun out there. And I would say I was a victim to that too. And it's not easy, for any junior golfers listening out there. Take our advice and just have fun out there, and don't take it too seriously. Even though you gotta play well to get recruited and all of that, everything just kind of happens, and you're always at the right place at the right time. So definitely on that point, I've heard it a lot, and it's a common theme, which part of your fun that you've been experiencing in golf has led you to a new venture in the game, called Par Yard. Could you tell us about what inspired you, and whoever's a part of your team to start Par Yard?
Yeah, so Par Yard really started almost 9 months ago from today. And it really was kind of from those experiences that I got playing competitive golf that I wanted to bring to the average everyday golfer, being able to feel those juices and just coming down the stretch with a live leaderboard, knowing where you stand, and giving them those experiences that I felt to the average golfer, no matter how good or how bad they are. So kind of what we created with Par Yard was our own format. It's a two-man best ball modified Stableford with handicaps. So no matter how good or bad somebody is, we kind of level the playing field like this. So another thing that's a different twist to it too is that plus handicappers like myself and Leo, we will never go really play in a handicap event just because we're kind of at a disadvantage from the start, right? And
Severe
it's
disadvantage.
yeah, it's really tough, honestly. So it's kind of something that's deterring for us to ever go play in it. So what we did was that plus handicappers in our system will never give a stroke. So plus handicappers, no matter how much of a plus you are, you always start at zero. So it kind of gives everybody that opportunity, like me and Leo, to go out there and be like, okay, look, I make birdie, it actually counts for birdie. It's not birdie for par, which is kind
Yeah.
of the most hated thing I see. So we were able to change that. And then also for the average everyday 20 plus handicapper, they're able to go out there and compete against people like me, Leo, or other good players or single digit handicaps and just level the playing field and bring those experiences to everybody.
No, that's great, man. And what inspired you to for the name Par Yard?
So the name actually, it wasn't something new. It's something that from FIU Golf Club, a bunch of us had been talking about back then, and it was just something that we just kind of transitioned into the company, and we stuck with it. I mean, it's been something that's been going around that name for a few years, and we kept it going. And I have four partners with me now. We're a pretty decent sized team. Everybody's really good with what we do, and everything's just been awesome like that.
That's great, man. And it truly does take a team to execute something like this. It's not an easy task. What are some of the things that have evolved since Par Yard's inception?
Yeah, so at first it started off as like kind of like a recreational 9 hole event kind of thing, where it started as on Saturdays we'd meet up at in Miami. It's called Granada Golf Course, where we were even booking tee times back then without them even knowing we were kind of hosting tournaments. Like that's kind of how it started off. No partnerships with golf courses or anything. And then over time, gaining that trust in the golf space, like from when we started, be like, okay, yeah, what we're actually doing is legit. Like there's nothing going on that's funny here, and being able to partner with golf courses first in Miami and then partnering with courses around the country or internationally and just growing our network within golf to kind of bring these events everywhere. And what's also transitioned into it too is that now me and my partners, we actually are making content also on the page, showcasing our skills, just having fun and being able to mix everything together to make it a cool atmosphere so that when you come out to the events, you're able to, kind of just interact in a more fun way and make these tournaments a little bit more fun. Just showing our like how we interact with the golf course and them being able to come out and kind of do some of the similar things.
Yeah, and the content's pretty amazing, man. I mean, I think what you guys are doing, like it's very well filmed and well edited. For anyone that hasn't watched it, go to Par Yard on Instagram and TikTok. I'm sure. I'm not sure. I don't
Thanks.
really use TikTok much, but um, dude, what was the thing that kind of helped you guys build that trust with the golf industry?
It was just more about being consistent with what we were doing and giving a consistent product to people and making sure that we would almost under promise and over deliver with the experience that people would get when they came out to the events, and making sure that everybody when they did come out to the event would have a good time, would enjoy it. And then if anybody at the course would ask for any feedback, they'd give positive feedback. We'd make sure we interact with the people that come out to all the events and ask them questions about whatever they think we could have done better, or just trying to make it a better experience every time we do this. And within the golf space for golf courses and stuff like that, when it comes to partnering with us, it's making sure that we give them accurate numbers whenever we have an event planned or something like that, making sure that nothing's exaggerated and we're actually trying to do what we say we're doing.
Yeah, and what were some of the things? Because you already done quite a few events. It started in the beginning of 2024 this year. Um, what can you talk us through a little bit about the events that you guys have already done? Where have you gone?
So I'd say, yeah, since we started, we had the majority of our events down here in South Florida. And 3 months ago, we were like, okay, we want to take this project to like kind of a different scale. We want to interact with people all over the place and meet different people, interact with different cultures. So from 3 months ago, we've had our first international event. We did it in the Bahamas, where we partnered with Bahamar to host this event. And that was definitely kind of what started this new version of what we have now. It was just like when we went down there to the Bahamas, hosted an event down there, interacted with completely different people, brought this to them. The atmosphere was electric. It was just so amazing out there. Everybody had so much fun. We really enjoyed it hosting it. And we said we need to just keep doing this and hosting these events in different places. So from there, the next month, we plan to go to Michigan, which we just came back from. And that was an incredible experience. We got to have an event at a small golf course down there, super nice course. It was Calderon Golf Club, super nice club. We had a bunch of great people come out there. And then 2 weeks later, we went to California where we hosted an event in the mountains over there. So again, completely different vibes, just meeting so many different people and hosting these cool events, giving people a ton of prizes, just making the experience of golf tournaments more fun and just bringing that to a bunch of different people.
I love that, man. And golf truly needs more of that kind of stuff. I feel like a lot of tournaments are dull. Like they don't just have that extra layer of sauce in them. And well, I'm curious, like, can you? Because I actually haven't been to a par yard event yet, but like, can you walk me through like what does this experience look like and feel like for a participant?
So sometimes it's like, especially our events in Miami, we have some pretty cool stuff. So first time when you come in, you'll have me and my partners greeting you when you come in. We present you with your custom scorecard for the event, which most people, if you haven't played an event, haven't seen them, but we have custom printed scorecards with your name on it, every detail about the course, where you get your strokes, all those things. And sometimes we even have a DJ on the first tee. So we'll have a DJ on the first tee announcing your name, have your walk up song or something like that. But we always have different things. So we partner with a lot of companies strategically to make the experience much better for the people coming out to the events. Sometimes we'll have a liquor tasting after or something like that. But we really try to make the event like more of an event as well as a tournament at the same time. So you're getting more out of your experience instead of just going there, getting a scorecard, teeing off, and turning in your scorecard at the end of the day. We really
Yeah.
try to interact with everybody. And too, and when you go out and play in one of our events, we're out there driving in a golf cart, me and my partners interacting with you, maybe asking a couple questions during the round, filming some stuff with you guys so you guys can be featured on the channel. And we take all the good stuff from that and put it on the channel, and just letting people be able to express themselves and show themselves in that way has been pretty cool.
No, that's awesome, man. And I'm sure you've had some electric moments in the channel or in the league in general. Could you share some of those success stories or notable achievements that you guys have had during the tournaments?
Yeah, so during the tournaments, I mean, it's pretty funny because I guess we could start back from like even just starting in Miami. We would have so many things happen where we can only be behind one person at a time. So we usually choose that person from the tee box. And it's happened so many times where somebody else either holes out from the fairway when we're playing or somebody chips in when we're not recording. So it's crazy. It's just like we're in the right place at the right time. It's just we're not filming the right person when it's happening because we
And are
can't
you
be
guys
everywhere.
just filming like you, like your group of like your partners and just going around like with you guys, or do you guys have camera guys like on holes and stuff?
So no, so it's just us filming. So whenever we're filming, it's our partners out there. We do have two cameras, so sometimes we're able to be in two different places at once. But for the main part, we usually stick together, and we're just getting different angles. But yeah, we've missed a lot of moments like that where just like that could have been really cool for somebody to showcase, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And what are some of the lessons that you've learned, like from your experience in both golf and also managing this league?
definitely one of the main things has been, I guess you could say, like patience, learning that all these things definitely take a lot of time. And it's not going to be like, from when you first start something like this, it's not going to be like, yeah, everything's going to work seamlessly. There's a lot of bumps in the road when you start something like this. And just being able to meet with our team and put together the time to overcome these things and not, stress out about it. Just knowing that we'll come up with a solution. We just got to sit down, talk these things through, and just figure everything out. But there is a lot of bumps in the road when we do these things, and just
Yeah.
trying to be patient, calm. Even during the event, we do have bumps in the road sometimes, and just trying to be calm, patient, coming up with quick solutions to things without, you know, anything going on.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk from experience as well, being in the event space too. Like it requires a lot of patience, and there's a lot of obstacles in the way as you go about it. People, either canceling last minute, things just happening where it's like kind of unpredictable. But it's part of the fun. It's part of like what makes you feel alive during the process. So
100%. Like, for example, exactly the same thing about you said about people canceling last minute. In our event in Michigan, we had exactly 34 people registered for it, which is like kind of for us, it has to be always an even number. So we had one person drop the exact same day of the tournament, which takes one team to be left with one person. So for us, it's like, okay, we need a couple of solutions. So we couldn't find somebody last minute. So it ended up being me and Matt playing 9 holes each with this person in the tournament, which is actually probably one of the coolest experiences I've had playing golf. Just going to jump right into this to play with 3 new people that I have never met and just kind of like share the experience of actually playing in one of our events because we were like, we weren't going to leave somebody out by themselves. So we made sure we were able to give them that cool experience. And he really enjoyed actually just playing 9 holes with me and then the other 9 with Matt. And giving him that cool experience actually made it a better time for him.
no, that's super cool. And so in these tournaments, do you like rack up points like after every event as you go? Is that something you guys want to incorporate if you haven't done so already, or like is it kind of just done per event basis? Like whoever wins wins, and it's you start from scratch in the other one.
So we did do a point system for a little while down here in South Florida, and we're hoping to bring this back with the new tour that we're ready to start doing soon down here in South Florida. So we're gonna have monthly events down here in South Florida again, and we're just finalizing a lot of the details with that and how it's gonna go. But maybe we will incorporate some type of point system because it's gonna be kind of a recurrent event every month around the same time. So there's a possibility for us to do some stuff with that as we figure this out. Maybe we bring back the point system, but it was really cool because um, we first did the point system. People were really interactive with it and being like, "Oh, I mean, I can come out and get some points this week, but if I don't want to miss because then I'll fall down the leaderboard." So it was a cool dynamic with that. But it's a possibility that we do bring something like that back.
Yeah, I'd figure to keep people engaged and like wanting them to continue to be a part of the events for sure. What are some of the like the future aspirations that you guys have for Par Yard and where you guys want to take it?
Yeah, so we want to have these events grow on a much bigger scale even than we have them now. So just continue kind of doing what we're doing. So having these events, meeting new people, and just traveling and doing these in different places because we enjoy hosting these events. It's a lot of fun, and we want to grow them as big as we can. So just having as many people coming out and interacting with us. And at the same time, too, I'm sure some of the people here have seen us on Instagram, but we enjoy also filming content on these trips as well. So when we go out there, we film at these courses and have a lot of fun ourselves doing it too. So all around, it's a really good experience for us and for everybody. So we just want to keep growing it the way I was doing.
No, that's great, man. And like that kind of leads me, for my next question. I see amateur golf now, like really evolving. A lot more people getting into the game. There's kind of a necessity for these people to be a part of something. They want to be involved in something. That's why I feel like what you guys are doing, it's needed in the world. Um, how do you see the landscape of amateur golf evolving over the years? Do you see more of these like tours emerging and starting?
I would hope so. I mean, I feel like what this trend that we're starting is pretty cool. Having more fun events, and it's also serious at the same time, but just giving it a little bit of that extra. I guess you could say more of a feeling that's like elevating the experience to the person coming out to the event and playing. I feel like it would be really cool if a lot more of the amateur events kind of went back a little bit, a little less traditional, having a little bit more fun stuff going on within them. I think that'd be awesome. I mean, I could definitely see that growing, and I mean, the rest would be history from there. I mean, that'd be really cool to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I do see a trend in this happening. I mean, I feel like with YouTube golf and all these content creators like blowing up, getting really cool opportunities, and good showcasing their events and like what they're doing. There's kind of a lane opening up for entrepreneurs like ourselves to really take on the lead and create something for the world. Because it's like I remember talking to the Bob the Sports guys once when I saw him in Miami, and I asked them, I'm like, what does it take to be, a creator like you guys? And they're like, obviously it's consistency, but dude, like you'd be surprised. There's so much space for creators. Like there's barely anyone here type thing. So there is an opportunity for, people that want to take that initiative to capitalize on it and do something. And I truly believe that there's a necessity for not just like as you start, your initiatives and what you're doing, like there is kind of a necessity for competition to arise too, like other people to start doing what you're doing. It just brings more traction to what you're doing because
Mhm.
you're entering into this world of collaboration rather than competition, even though it is a competition from a business standpoint. Like everyone's collaborating here. We're all growing the same game. We're doing it to enhance the experience of golf. How do you see that? Do you want more competition to arise in your space in a way? Like obviously from a business standpoint, I don't know if that's exactly what you want, but like I feel like in a way the world of golf is asking for that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say directly I would want more people to kind of start doing what we're doing, but if people did start doing kind of what we do, it would give us other ideas because we're only four brains thinking, and there's definitely other people out there that have different ideas that we could bounce off of too. Because I mean, if somebody comes around does kind of what we do, we could see what they do differently, and be able to take some of the good and some of the bad from what we both do to elevate both of our products from there. I mean,
Yeah.
competition's a good thing at the end of the day. It makes everybody better at what they do. So it's not something we want, but it would always elevate our experience of what we're giving to everybody. So I think it's either way, it's a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, you're around now a lot of these amateur golfers that are playing these events. What are some of the most common mistakes that you see with these guys out there when they're playing in competitive tournaments?
Would you say swing wise or more on the mental aspect?
Let's say mental aspect, because that's what we talk about mostly on this podcast.
So from the mental aspect of it, I guess you could see people being like kind of setting up for, I guess you could say, like we do see like I see a lot of people missing just in the wrong spot. I think it's just, and that's a lot of mental stuff too. It's like if you're, I see a lot of people sometimes they're like focusing so heavily. Let's say if there's water left, it's their main mental thought thinking about water left. And I bet you if you think water left all throughout your swing, there's a high chance you're going to hit it in the water left. It's just I feel
Yeah,
like the through the amateur side and the better you see people get, the less they actually think about where they can't miss it instead of where they want to hit it is what I've seen a lot of the difference too. Is that when we see better players, I see them talking amongst themselves where they want to hit it. And when I see a lot of the worst players, I see them talking about where they don't want to hit it. Right.
yeah,
So you have to know where you want to miss also at the high level, but you also want to be focusing more on where you want to hit the ball instead of where you don't want to miss it. Is what that's what I've seen a lot of.
absolutely. I think during the tournaments, I mean, since you guys are really focusing on the experience side of it, you might want to consider having like a pro out there, like, in a cart, maybe like driving around and pulling up to a guy, be like giving him like a mental strategy or something to stay connected or something like throughout the course. Cause I mean, part of why these guys are joining it, first off, it's probably to get involved in something in golf, but also to get the juices flowing and to get better at golf. At the end of the day, like they're doing it because they want to improve and they want to be involved. So I would say, out of top of my head, just an idea I had. I think that would be kind of funny and also interesting to do, especially on the content side. I don't know what you're thinking, but
I 100% would agree with that. So it'd be cool to have you out at one of our events too, kind of rolling around, talking to people and telling them from your perspective, like deep into the mental side that you're really good at. And just being able to explain that to like the 20 handicapper, what's going on in your mind compared to what they're thinking about. And that adds a
yeah,
lot of value to them too, because they probably haven't thought about half the things that you'd probably say to them on that tee box.
yeah,
So it would
hundred
add a
percent.
it would be a really good thing actually, even like let's say you're sitting on one of the hardest par threes in the course to be able to tell a 20 handicap how you view this hole, right, and how they should be thinking about it. That would completely change probably their thought process for that hole.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's definitely something that because like those guys are going out there to get better and they want to like be tested, but they don't want to do the same thing over and over and like feel like they're just stuck. So that's definitely like a cool concept you can integrate. But what advice do you have for the average golfer? Looking to improve their game. Do you feel like everybody should just be looking at getting into competition, or like what is your personal piece of advice for the average golfer?
Hey, making your fun rounds with your friends a little bit more competitive is what really helps you get a lot better. I find it's like when you're going out and playing on a casual Saturday or Sunday, throwing a little bit of a game in there. Say you guys are going to play a little bit of a small match, right? It could be even like for soda at the end of the round, or a sandwich, or a small wager. But just having something to play for, it makes you focus just that little bit more, and you're going to see that your game's going to progressively get better over time. Just because you're focusing when you're out there and you're actually thinking about what you're doing instead of just like hitting the shot and then just talking a little bit. But if you really want to get better, I think adding that little bit of competition, just even when you go play with your friends, would help a ton. And it also preps you for actual competition too, because you can go back on those experiences. Let's say you're playing for a large wager. That kind of pressure correlates directly, I've found, into when you're playing in competition. It's a similar feeling. And being able to replicate those is huge.
Yeah, 100%. Or just film your match. That
Yeah.
usually gets the juices flowing. JP, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. You shared a lot of great stuff. For anyone that wants to know more, go to Par Yard. Follow JP on Instagram too. Just throw them your tags. Where can they find you?
So on Instagram, you can find us at Paryard Golf, and my personal golf Instagram is at Japes Golf, JAPES Golf. It's a little hard to spell that one, so
Awesome. Well, thank you, JP. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching this episode, and stay connected for the next one.
thanks
Peace.
for having me.
Yes.